Hello everyone, PJ or TeamAmerica here, and today I should be streaming Arena on Twitch, but I'm not because I have really disliked playing Arena so far this meta, and I thought I would rather discuss why I think that this is the worst meta of all time. So, starting off, it's dual class, which originally was a lot of fun. But the last few years, for some reason, during dual class, the class card offering rates have been lowered significantly. So ideally, you would be doing these really fun combos with fun combinations of classes, trying to figure out which combos you can do to do a few broken things while we have the dual class meta. But you just don't get offered enough class cards for that to happen. And there's even more issues with the dual class that I'll get into later. But also, all of the sets that are in right now are older sets. In the last few metas, we've had issues where you're mixing powerful sets, like the more recent sets, with the old sets, like Goblins versus Gnomes or something. So, because basically you would just hope that you get offered all cards from the newest expansion, because the old ones can't compete. So you would think that having all old cards would be okay, but that's not the case because some of the cards have been added to the core set and buffed in the core set. So, for example, Warhorse Trainer used to be a 3 mana 2/4. Your Silverhand recruits have +1 attack. Now it's a Spider Tank. Your Silverhand recruits have +2 attack and taunt. So unless you have a ping or something, like, this card is incredibly difficult to deal with and can just snowball a game right away. Also, you got cards like Temple Enforcer, where it used to be a 6 mana 6/6, give a friendly minion +3 attack or +3 health, and now it's a 5 mana 5/6. And the buffed cards from the core set are just a pretty big problem because they're just way stronger than everything else. Um, and then the dual class issue. Demon Hunter is one of the classes offered, but Demon Hunter has no cards in the first 4 expansions of Hearthstone. So if you choose Demon Hunter as your first class, you have no way of knowing you're going to get no Demon Hunter cards. And which is just a crappy feeling. Also, if your opponent has a Burgle and plays Burgle against Demon Hunter, there are no class cards to steal. So you play Burgle, you get no cards, which is pretty funny, but also should not happen. Um, and then, so also, what most people have been finding to be the strongest combination in this dual class meta is to take Demon Hunter as your hero power. So you only draft class cards from one class in dual class. But it's the strongest because Demon Hunter with Inspire is actually pretty good. Because it's only 1 mana, you get to impact the board, and you're getting the Inspire effect. So cards like Mookless Champion and Cavalde Raider and Murloc Knight are just incredibly strong when you only need 1 mana to inspire it. So just the fact that it's dual class, and the best way to play dual class is to be one class with a buffed hero power, does not feel great. Also, one of the biggest issues um, also is that they managed to not include basic cards. So some people are like, yeah, it's nostalgic to be playing with all these old cards, except some of the most iconic cards are just not there. The, the biggest issues, I would say, are Mage and Paladin, where in Mage, you don't have Frostbolt. You don't have Frost Nova, which I don't actually think is that huge of a deal. But you don't have Fireball. You don't have Polymorph. You don't have Water Elemental. You don't have Flame Strike. And also, Sorcerer's Apprentice is really nerfed. But Mage just feels awful to play. Like, the nostalgia just isn't there because the iconic cards are not. Like in Paladin, you don't have access to Blessing of Kings, Consecration, True Silver Champion, or even Hammer of Wrath. And Hammer of Wrath isn't a great card, but it was okay way back then. And it would be draftable in this meta. But like you don't get to play it with these super fun cards. And also like you might notice a lot of the cards like Consecration and Flame Strike and Swipe. Those cards are comeback mechanics, which currently don't exist. Like I think even Hellfire is also like almost the vast majority of the AoE are basic cards. A lot of the AoE is basic cards. So the meta is just snowballing, and it's super difficult to come back. Like your comeback mechanics are a handful of um, battle cry effects, like North Sea Kraken, which you see in almost every game. Almost being the decider, unless there's a legendary like Doctor Boom in it. So people are like, yeah, it's more skill testing. I'm. It probably is, but I don't actually think it's as skill testing as people think because the player base is better, and we're drafting better decks, and people are able to take advantage of going first better now than they were back in 2015. So being able to curve out on 1, 2, and 3, they're better able to draft decks that can do that and leave fewer holes to come back. And yeah, it's skill testing to try and find those few spots where you can come back, but um, there's just so few tools to do it that your wins don't feel as good. Your losses feel even worse because you're just powerless to come back in a lot of the games when you go second. It's it's just not very fun, and there's no way to know any of this information unless like you're active on Twitter or Reddit. Like, like the bug, I can almost forgive because that's a mistake. But the Demon Hunter thing is something that they knew was going to happen. So that I'm pretty disappointed. They've put a lot of effort into Arena the last year, and like we had the Taverns of Time event, which was super cool. But I'm very disappointed, and we have to deal with this until the expansion comes out. So I think that even when these cards come out, I'm not sure it's going to fix too many things. They've acknowledged it's a bug, and they do want to get these basic cards. But like Sprint used to be 7 mana, and while it wasn't great, it was draftable. Um, and now it's 2 mana cheaper. So there were other really bad metas like Dragon Ball Poacher would feel really bad in its first meta, but I feel like this is the worst just between the Demon Hunter and being used to new cards and playing with these really weak cards now doesn't feel as good. And then even the nostalgia isn't there, like without access to cards like Fireball. That, like, I still love to play Fireball, but we can't even do it right now. So, if you're watching, please be sure you like, subscribe, comment, and let me know. Do you agree? Is this the worst meta, or what you think it has been the worst meta in the past? Let me know, and make sure you check me out every day, twitch.tv/TeamAmerica. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.